Let's take a peek behind the curtain and see what it takes to update Seti Astro Suite, get it compiled on 5 different operating systems, and out to everybody to use. Welcome to Seti Astro. Alright, so let's get behind the scenes and see what it takes to update Seti Astro Suite. So on my Discord, I have a No One Likes Bugs channel where people can tell me if there's any issues with Seti Astro Suite or Cosmic Clarity, and suggest new features and things like that. So David W is saying that he wants a slow image scrolling button in Blink Comparator. So Blink has a play button where it can cycle through all your images for you, and it's just moving too fast for this user. So the idea would be to have some kind of a speed control, or maybe a fast forward or a slow forward kind of button. So let's kind of dive into what it's going to take to make a feature like this in Seti Astro Suite. Okay, first and foremost, I'm a Windows guy, so I have my Windows PC here, and on the Windows PC I am running 2 different virtual machines, one for Linux Ubuntu 20.04 and one for Ubuntu 24.04, and then obviously my Windows here. And then for the Mac users out there, I'm not a Mac guy, so I had to go out and buy a Intel and Apple Silicon based Mac Minis so I can compile it for all the Mac users out there. But that's kind of the setup I have. So it's essentially 5 different operating systems to get it done, compiled on all those operating systems. All right, I do all my coding in Visual Studio Code. So, I have just a huge folder with all sorts of different Python files and spec files and all sorts of things. But Seti Astro Suite qt6.py is Seti Astro Suite. So it's in this giant file that we're going to have to do the updates in here. And currently, Seti Astro Suite is at 67,600 lines of code. So it is a huge monolith. And I'm okay with that. I am not a software developer. I'm not a coder. This is what I created. So it is what it is right now. And I have also said numerous times, again, I am not a software developer, hobbyist coder, none of that. And I rely heavily on ChatGPT to work through code and get ideas and figure out how to do things, because before Seti Astro Suite I had never used Python in my life. So it's kind of been an ambitious passion project to even do in the first place. But let's go ahead and add this feature in, and we'll just work through it. So the first thing I'm going to do is go down and find where I have Blink in Seti Astro Suite. And Blink is going to be after all our normal functions. So after all the normal functions, then I have the image viewer, batch processing metrics, Blink, Cosmic Clarity tab. They're just all laid out in their own classes. So here's the Blink tab. And it has, the initialization, the UI for it, and all the guts in here that are needed to make it work. So the first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and tell ChatGPT what I'm trying to accomplish here, and just dump the whole code that I currently have for the Blink tab to it. So I'm just going to type in, and again, I've been working with ChatGPT for a long time, so it has in its memory loads of sessions of us working together in the code. So it's pretty familiar with the code that's been slowly developed now for close to a year. So I'm just going to say, hey, had a user request about adding some kind of speed control to the Blink tab's play button. It's currently just hard-coded for a single pretty fast speed. What are your thoughts about adding a slow forward button, or even just a speed control slider that the user can adjust when they hit play? I think the speed control slider may be easiest to implement. And then I'm just going to paste in the whole tab's worth of code, hit enter, and we'll start the conversation and start the back and forth needed to get this feature added. So after a bit, it's like, yep, speed control is the simplest, most flexible way to handle it, blah, blah, blah. And then it kind of steps you through what we're going to have to do in the code to, to, to do this. And from what I've found is you'll implement these changes, you'll try to run it, you'll get an error, you'll have to put the error in here and work through all the issues, just kind of back and forth like you may have to with a human developer or something. So let me go ahead and just get these added and see what happens. Okay, got the code in, running the script. Now if I go to blink, now I have a bar here for frames per second. But I'm noticing right off the bat that, well, first there's a problem with Qt6 where these arrows never have worked right. So we do have custom code to help with that. And also FPS, even 1 frame per second is pretty darn fast. So we want to go much slower than that. So this is feedback we're going to have to give into our conversation on how we want to maybe handle this. First thing I want to say is there's no errors, right? So it doesn't think that there's something wrong with what it sent back. I'm going to say, even 1 frame per second is fast, and that's the slowest the slider goes. We really should go from like 0.1, so 1 frame every 10 seconds up to 10 frames per second. Also, I'm going to say that spin box, that's the up and down arrows, aren't really that good. And I have a custom class to do custom spin boxes. So I have 2 different classes, one for a double spin box and one for a spin box. So we're going to have to tell it about that as well to get that changed. All right, and now we'll just see what it comes up with. Okay, and it gave us some things here to do. So let me go ahead and just get all this implemented here. Okay, and I ran it now. Now we can see it has this, and this is giving me an error. You can see right at the bottom when I'm clicking it. So I'm going to have to let it know that it has an error with these up and down buttons here, and the slider. The whole thing is broke. So that's what we got to do. So then we'll just copy that and say that code gave this error. And just work through the error now. It gave back some ideas here, so let me keep working through it. Okay, we're back up and running. And now when we use the button, now we can see it actually gives us no errors, and it all works, and the slider works, and now we can go all the way down to 0.1 frames per second. So now it's the big test. Let's grab some images here. Okay, now the moment of truth. So I'm on 0.1 frames per second. It should be about 10 seconds between each of these frames. I'm going to hit play, and we'll just see. Okay, and now move down to the next one. And yep, and now let's okay, and now I moved it up to 1, and now it's going through them just fine. And the pause button works. And we also added this spacebar thing too, so I'm going to try that spacebar. All right, and now I'm using the spacebar. It's also turning it on, and then if I hit the spacebar again, it paused it. Perfect. So we've implemented this change now in Seti Astro Suite. Now it's a matter of compiling it for all 5 operating systems and pushing it out for the people. I've also made other changes too around auto cropping in Stacking Suite and connections with directories and stuff too. So there's more changes than just this that we're actually going to be pushing out. But now we got to go all the way up to the top. Just below all our imports and stuff, I have a version number. So now I got to decrement that up by 1. We got to copy the whole shebang. And we'll go over to GitHub where I store all this stuff. And find Seti Astro Suite, Qt6. Paste in all our new code. And this is going to be version 2 6.21.8, and this is auto crop and blank speed. We'll save that there. So that'll be important for all the users that just run the code natively like that. And also, this is how I get it over on my Macs, is through here. But before I actually start compiling it, Linux 20.04 is a little dated at this point. So I have to make sure the new code that we just wrote works for this. So the code we just wrote will absolutely work on Windows, Ubuntu 24.04, the Mac Intel, the Mac Apple Silicon, but 20.04 is a little bit finicky. So we have to make sure it actually runs on this first and then tweak it if we need to, and then we can compile it across all the operating systems. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy the whole thing now into the version on Linux 20.04, and we just got to try to run it. And it came on right up. I'll just go over to blank to make sure. Yep, here's our changes in blank. Perfect. So now we can go ahead and just compile it on all the platforms. So I use py installer, and I already have the spec files written in order to do that. Here's the spec file on how to actually compile Seti Astro Suite, importing in all our images and different libraries and things of that nature, so that when it gets all bundled together, it could run as a standalone program. So you as the user don't have to install a bunch of Python stuff, right? That's the whole point, is that I could just distribute this and you don't have to do anything with Python, right? You just run the code. So let's go ahead and start it on the Windows machine. The Windows machine by far takes the longest to compile. And now this will kick off compiling it on Windows. I can kick off compiling it on Ubuntu 20.04. I can copy and paste it over in Linux 24.04 and start its installer. Here I am over in my Apple Silicon machine, and I gotta pull it from GitHub. That's why I uploaded it to GitHub. And we'll copy it over here. And start its installer running. And now I'm in my Mac Mini Intel, and I got to get the code as well and start its installer. Okay, now we have the installer running, compiling all our code across 5 different operating systems now. When it's all done, then we gotta still kind of package it all up to distribute. I mean, you guys want to see behind the scenes. So in Windows, I have a Seti Astro Suite Windows zip file, right? This is the distribution file for it. So while it's compiling in the background on Windows, I can go ahead and prep this folder. And by prep this folder, I just mean delete all the stuff that's inside it, because we're going to put in the new version. All right, and then we also have to clean out the old version of the compiled software, so it has some place that it can write the new compiled version to. So we'll get rid of that as well. Okay, and we can see that the Windows version still processing, still compiling. Linux 24.04 is still compiling, 20.04 still compiling, and the Apple Silicon one is finished. So then I got to prep that to move over to my Intel Mac so I can compress them together, right? I got to tarball them together. So let's go ahead and do that. Going to go ahead and tarball up the Seti Astro Suite Mac Apple Silicone version. And then once that's now in a tarball, I can go ahead and I have a drive folder that I use to transfer things between my Linux distributions and my Mac distributions. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that in here. I'll just overwrite the old one because I'm just going to be transferring that file across. All right, the Linux 20.04 version is done compiling, and I have it dropping into this distribution folder here. So I can take the new file and put it in the folder. I'll replace the old one. And we're going to have to wait on the 24.04 version to finish compiling as well and get it over to here so we can get it all zipped together for distribution. Okay, the Linux 24.04 version is done. We need to get that over to our other Linux virtual machine, so I'm going to go ahead and drop that into my transfer folder here. And while I'm here, it's always good to just make sure that the compiled versions run as well. Okay, yep, it's up and running on 2404 in the compiled version, so that's always a good sign. Now we just got to bundle it all together with the other Linux version. So this has to finish uploading first. Okay, it's finished uploading to the drive folder, so now I can go ahead and grab it from my other Linux virtual machine here. And here it is here. And I'll just download it. Okay, it's done downloading, so let's go ahead and grab it. We'll put it in our Seti Astro Suite Linux folder. So now in our folder we have both the 20.04 and 24.04 versions. And now I'll just tell it to compress it. And it's going to start compressing it for us. While that's going, since this is a little slow, we'll hop over to the Mac machines now. So the Intel Mac has also finished compiling. So let's go ahead and start getting the Mac versions together. Here's the newly compiled one here. I got to delete the old one. Rename it. This is the Intel version. Now we have to go grab the Apple Silicone version one, which is in our transfer folder right here. So I'll download that one. All right, the Apple Silicone version is downloaded. So let's go ahead and uncompress it. Okay, and now we can just go ahead and put it here. Delete the old one. Rename it. Apple Silicone. Get rid of the old tarball. And compress them. Now, while that's compressing, it's probably a good time we can go ahead and set up our new GitHub release. So let's go ahead, releases, draft new release. This is version 2.21.8. And in here is auto crop for stacking, suite update, bug update, and settings update. This is also our blank tab speed control. And now we can go ahead and make sure that that's done compressing first. Okay, it's done compressing. And start uploading it to GitHub. While that's uploading to GitHub, we could also go to my Seti Astro Suite mirror site and upload it there too. And just to show you guys, Windows is still just chugging along, slowly compiling. It has to finish its performing binary versus data reclassification, and then it goes searching a bunch of path files. Windows takes a while. It's just going to keep doing its thing. We'll come back to Windows. Upload is complete here. So now we'll just click Publish Release. Now that put the Mac version in. It looks like the Linux compression has finished as well. So let's go ahead and get that pushed to GitHub. So we got to go under Releases, go find our new release. Here it is. Now we can go ahead and upload our compressed Linux version. And we also want to put it to the mirror site. Linux is done uploading here, so we'll just click Update Release. And now we're just waiting on Windows now. So I'll be back when Windows gets done compiling. Windows is now finished compiling, so let's go ahead and get that in there. So it compiles it to these files. I just got to compress them now. All right, it's done getting zipped together. So let's go ahead and add it to the GitHub. We also need to add it to the mirror site for Seti Astro Suite. Okay, and there's one last thing to do. We need to tell Seti Astro Suite when you first turn it on, it checks for an update, right? We need to tell that to look for the new update now. So in GitHub as well, there's an update file, updates.json. And this is what I update to actually tell Seti Astro Suite that there's this new version 21.8 out. And then I put in the notes here as well. And commit changes there. And usually what I do, one last thing, is to let everybody over on Discord know that there is also a new update. And I add it to the Seti Astro Suite and Scripts update page. And now everybody on Discord knows that there's a new update out there as well, if they're not getting the automatic updates from Seti Astro Suite. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little peek behind the curtain as to what it takes to get some kind of an update within Seti Astro Suite, and how I have to actually get it coded in, compiled across all the different 5 operating systems, merged together, and then uploaded in such a manner that you guys actually can go ahead and download it and use it. Please comment, like, and subscribe.